Hey guys, what's up? In this video I'm going to show you the vehicle that I bought to replace my 1992 Ford Aerostar. And I apologize in advance for the wind noise. It's a very hot, very windy day here in North Texas. So if you guys remember my oil change video on my 1992 Ford Aerostar, I took an oil sample from the engine and I sent it off to Blackstone Labs to see what kind of shape the engine was in. And it turns out there was a bunch of coolant in the oil. So I figured, you know what? I've already replaced the engine in that thing once, and I am not going to do it again. So I just got rid of it, and instead I bought this. This is my new, to me, 2005 Ford Escape XLS Value Edition. The trim levels go XLS, XLS Value Edition, XLT, XLT No Boundaries, which is a fancier roof rack, XLT Sport, Limited, and then there was the hybrid, which I'll show a video on the hybrid later on in the future. I've actually had this thing for about, I'd say almost a year now, going on 8 months, and in the time that I've had it, I've done a lot of changes to it, and I'll show you guys what I've done to it in that time. But for now, let's take a look. This is a silver exterior color, and it has a regular black plastic cladding. I believe the hybrid appearance package had a body paint matching front bumper, side cladding, and rear bumper. So this isn't base per se, it's about one level up from base. But you still have manual cloth seats, non-heated. You do get power windows and locks though, and that's really nice. And another thing that's not, or that's manual in this car, is a 5-speed manual transmission. 5-speed manual, and it even has 4-wheel drive. And this combo between 4-wheel drive and a manual transmission is extremely rare for these Escapes. Not a lot of them existed. And that brings me to my next point. Do you guys remember my Ford Contour video? The one where the transmission basically conked out at 130,000 miles. It turns out that's the same transmission that Ford used in these Escapes, the Ford CD4E horrid 4-speed automatic. I didn't want that, so I searched far and wide and I found one with a 5-speed transmission, and I wanted 4-wheel drive because, you know, why not? So some changes that I made to the vehicle, I removed the Ford CD player and I added in this Kenwood DNX 574S head unit. And this centerpiece here, this used to be black, but I changed it out and now it's, I got a silver one. This piece I believe is from a Ford Escape hybrid, because you had two buttons here, one that said info and setup, I think. Info and set, I think it was on the Escape hybrid for it, because on the hybrid you have a message center right here in place where these 3 warning lights are. So I bought that, and instead of using those buttons to control the message center, I put in 2 USB ports that go to the head unit, one for data and one for power. And I also put a 3.5mm aux jack. And then there's this right here, which is for parking sensors, which this car obviously does not have because, you know, it's one tier up from base model. And so before I put this in, I basically just drilled these out to accommodate the USB ports and the aux ports. And like I said, the piece before it was black. Some other changes that I've done is this gear shifter. Before it was more rounder. This gear knob was rounded and it had a different shift pattern on it, so I changed out the shift knob. This is actually a fake Ford Focus shift knob from the European Ford Focus. Grip's really nice. I like it because on my Ford Focus that I had, it feels a lot like that, and I really like that gear knob. And then this center console here with the cup holder, the parking brake, and this storage tray here, which has a bunch of crap in it. This piece is out of a Mercury Mariner of the same generation, so you have fake dark wood grain here, and it's obviously silver. And again, before, this piece was all black, so I just changed that out and put one in from a Mercury Mariner. Some other things that I've done, like I said, the projector headlights. I also added in fog lights. This vehicle did not come with fog lights, so what I did was I bought the fog light lenses on eBay, and I cut out where the fog lights go in the bumper. I installed the fog lights there, and then I added this switch, and then I used the OBD2 port to access the vehicle's GEM module. That's, I believe, General Electronics module. And I told the computer, hey, this truck has fog lights. So, and the harness was already behind here, the harness for the button. It was already behind this piece here. So I just put that in. And the harnesses for the fog lights were in there too. So that's really convenient. And then this switch right here is for the fog light, or the fog lights. The light bar that is on the roof that I put up on one of the cargo rack cross braces. And I actually did that on my 2008 Mercury Mariner as well. So, moving on. Let's just turn the vehicle on here. Yes, it does have air conditioning, and it does work. Works really nice. 236,921 miles. I got it with 224,000 miles on it. And it looks like I've put almost 13,000 miles on it. Oh. Don't want to play any copyrighted music. Put 12 to 13,000 miles on it, all trouble-free. The only thing I did to it was a wheel bearing, and I replaced all 4 tires. Sounds great, doesn't it? And when I got it, there were no check engine lights, nothing. It surprised me, it needed absolutely nothing. Other than that wheel bearing and tires. But, yeah. Also on these headlights, I took the front LED strip on here and these halos, and I turned them into daytime running lamps from an ignition switched relay. Listen to that engine. How healthy is that? This is a 2.3 liter Ford Duratec 4-cylinder engine, also known as the Mazda L engine, producing 151 horsepower and I believe 153 foot-pounds of torque. It's no speed demon, but it definitely works. And the valve cover I had to replace because I broke it, and the new valve cover I painted blue. And I took some compression ratings, and each cylinder is at 210 foot-pounds, or 210 psi of pressure. So that's really good compression considering how many miles this vehicle has. And here are the fog lights. One of them has a bunch of water in it because I drove through a big old puddle, like the road was all flooded, and yeah, that happened. That one didn't get any water in it though. Oh, I guess, yep, I left the doors locked and I can't unlock it with the window down. That little. But the nice thing is I can show you everything else. Headlights, fog lights. Turn the light bar on for no reason. And yes, it is a 5-speed, like I mentioned before. Over and down for reverse. Yeah, it's a really, really nice little SUV. The speaker on that door panel there was blown, so I replaced that as well. And just to prove to you that this is 4-wheel drive, right down there, that's the rear diff. Because most of these that were sold with the manual transmission were only front wheel drive. Very, very few of them were sold in a 5-speed manual with 4-wheel drive. Added 5500K Morimoto HID headlights. Still have halogens for the fog lights, but that's good because the heat from the halogen bulbs will cause the water to evaporate, I hope. And then there's a light bar that is extremely bright. So yeah, this is my new SUV. I love this thing. It doesn't burn any oil. It went through, I haven't had to put any oil in it within 5,000 miles. And that's the oil change interval I use, is 5,000 miles, and I haven't had to add any oil, which is really, really nice. Doesn't burn any oil, doesn't have a head gasket leak, no leaks anywhere. The AC works unlike my Aerostar, and it gets like 20 to 24 miles per gallon. In my Aerostar, I was lucky to break 12. So yeah, thanks for watching my video. Expect to see more videos of this car, and like I said, I also have a hybrid version of this that I will show you later on in the future. So thanks so much for watching.